G'day guys, Unbound got a change in the recent patch and a lot of creators have been saying how amazing it is, but I think we can all agree that a lot of the times they tend to... What's the diplomatic way to put this?
I lied.
Stretch the truth about perk strength. You know, some perk will be borderline useless, like rapid brutality, but because 3 killers on the roster can use it, they'll claim it's some amazing perk. So, is Unbound actually a good perk?
Oh god, it's so good.
It is actually pretty good. If all you care about is the answer to that and whether it's actually worth running, there you go. In fact, I would say this is probably the best chase perk buff that we've had period, at least since I've been playing. I can't think of another chase perk that got buffed to be actually as decent as this one, with the exception of maybe Languid Touch. I've just realised I haven't actually said what the buff is for Unbound.
You're a dumbass.
Basically, they doubled the haste amount, so it used to give you 5% haste, and now it's 10% haste. So when you injure a survivor, this perk activates for 30 seconds. If you vault a window within those 30 seconds, you'll get 10% haste for 10 seconds. To test this perk, it had to pass 2 different scenarios that I think all good perks follow. 1. It has to bring value on its own, no comboing with another perk in order to get a hit, such as increased vault speed. 2. It has to be usable without the killer power helping. This is a chase perk. If it's useless without anti-loop, then it's not much of a chase perk, is it? So, we used it on Sadako, who's a very weak killer in chase, to remove killer powers as a factor. I do also have coup de grace equipped, but it wasn't to try and milk value out of Unbound, it's because it's essential on Sadako. I will now show you all the instances I got value with the perk in the matches that I played with it, and then we'll continue the discussion. Take it away past me. On my watch, Kate. Unbound. Unbound strikes again, gamers. Hi, man. Goes down there. Get that with Unbound. There we go. We got one here, guys. Wow. I really am spoiled here, gamers. Unbound did get us a hit, though. It got us the down. Now I already know what you're thinking. JC, did you really only get 3 clips in 3 matches of this perk working and are claiming it's good?
Goddamn right.
Because I've put the perk value under the strictest conditions and it passed it in every single match, which is more than can be said for most perks in this game.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
It's a great perk because it follows these 2 rules. It's great enough on its own to get value without needing to be stacked with a second chase perk, and it doesn't need the killer to have any anti-loop or any base kit things to find value. Now, of course, there are obviously killers who find more value in this perk than others. For example, Alien with his vault speed add-on will get a lot of value. Wesker with his pallet vaulting actually activates this perk, which means Wesker can use it more consistently. And Chucky can bring back his old slice and die speed and makes him 120% speed as a third-person really small killer, which really helps with mouse 1 hits, which means this perk can get a lot of extra value on these killers. There will always be situations where certain killers find more value in things than others, but in all my matches on Sadako playing with this perk, it got me at least 1 hit in the match without the help of any other perk or anti-loop, which is pretty decent for a chase perk. This means we can finally have another chase perk for mouse 1 killers that's actually worth running, which is a really small list. Other perks that fall under this category would be things like Bamboozle, the peak chase design perk, coup de grace, and dark arrogance are all anti-loop perks which will help you get the hit on their own without needing to be comboed with something else. So that begs the question, how does it compare to these perks? Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, well, why would I not just run Bamboozle? Bamboozle is active 24/7 every single time you vault. Unbound, on the other hand, you need to do the 12 labors of Hercules just to activate the perk. But what surprised me after using this perk in real matches is Unbound was getting me hits that Bamboozle wouldn't have, especially against the better survivors. The reason for this is it's not immediately obvious that you have this perk equipped and that it's active as the survivor. Bamboozle, on the other hand, visually blocks the window, giving a survivor a visual tell that it is active. Also, since it increases the vault speed, that's another tell good survivors use to tell that you're using Bamboozle, which usually means they're just going to pre-drop the pallet to deny the hit. This makes Bamboozle good for deleting resources, but for actually getting a hit, it's not fantastic on its own. Because this perk has no immediate tell that it's active to the survivors, they don't expect it to be activated, so good survivors who know their distances will try to greed versus it and then end up getting hit because of it. Let's take this example at the shack that we showed earlier. Now, if I'm running Bamboozle in this situation, she would have seen that and would have thrown the pallet on the inside of shack, denying me this hit. But since Unbound had no tell, she went into autopilot and got downed because of it. The exact same thing happened in this clip also, where she thought that she had a typical shack run, but Unbound allowed me to catch up and get the hit. Now, if you're going to say these single hits don't really mean much, no. The hit that I got on Toba Landing actually won me the match, because basement was here, so I was able to hook this player in the basement, and then I pressured it so well for the rest of the game that they couldn't ever unhook without taking a trade. So this instance of Unbound value, while it was the only activation I got in the entire match granted, was actually the catalyst that won me the match overall. This wasn't uncommon either. In fact, every hit that I got with this perk was a result of survivors greeding pallets because they thought they could, which is really big, especially against good survivors. That being said, there are a lot of instances where Bamboozle would be better because you don't need that first hit to activate it. I also think that Dark Arrogance or Bamboozle are better as solo perks for Mouse 1 killers if you just need a perk to fill out a build or something. This is because these two perks will deny value out of traditionally really strong tiles that seriously hurt Mouse 1 killers, whereas because Unbound needs that first hit, it's not as consistent. A great example are the windows on the main building of Disturbed Ward and the whole main building of Father Campbell's church. These windows have absolutely no resources to burn as the killer, which makes them a reoccurring problem throughout the match for the weaker killers. Bamboozle and Dark Arrogance though make these windows a non-issue because you can just block them instantly or vault fast enough to where they can't consistently try and greed it, and consistency is generally much better than setup perks. Because of this, I think comboing this with another chase perk, while it isn't necessary as I've just shown, is a good idea, and I would find one that doesn't directly affect just vaulting. That way, if you go to a map that doesn't have any vaults, half your build isn't completely useless. No surprise here, I recommend coup de grace personally, because coup de grace will work on any tile in the game throughout the entire map, not just on vaults, which means that even if you don't get a vault, you'll still get value out of coup de grace, and if you do get vaults, you can then get value out of coup de grace, and you can get value out of Unbound. But all in all, while it isn't as consistently valuable as other perks, such as Bamboozle or Dark Arrogance, it definitely has its place. I personally think they should remove the 30-second time limit from it and make Mouse 1 hits activate it rather than just injuries. If all survivors get gigavolts every 20 seconds for simply being healthy, I think we can handle Unbound not having a time limit. But overall, probably the best perk change on the killer role in a very long time. I do love chase perks, it gives us something to use that isn't just quad slowdown and is viable on every killer in the game, so great job behaviour. Anyway, that's all from me gamers, have fun with this perk because it's genuinely fun, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.